Parshas Mishpatim. This is a shmuz adapted from the shmuzin of Moran Hagoyin, Reb Chaim Shmulevitz Zechat Tzadik Levrocha. It says in Mishpatim, Shmos Chav Beis Pasuk Chav Daled, Im Kesef Talve Es Ami. Simply, if you lend money to my people, to a Yid, es ha'oni imoch, among the poor people of your people, if you lend money to the poor person among your people, lo siya lo kenoisha, don't be toward him like a creditor. That's the simple pasuk, and Rashi brings davar acher. And what Rashi brings here makes this inyan here sort of the handbook of doing Chesed. How much the Torah requires us to do Chesed, to be kind. First of all, it says Im Kesef Talves Ami. Rashi brings down Chazal, that even though it says Im Kesef Talves Ami, if you lend money to my people, Rabbi Shmuel Omer, every single Im that's in the Torah is Rishus. If you want to lend, you lend. Chutz Mishloisha, except in three cases. It says Im, and it means we're obligated. It's a chov. And this is one of the cases. Even though it says Im Kesef Talves Ami, if you want to lend, it means it's a chayiv. It's an obligation to lend people and to do chesed with people. So the first thing, and we're going to go pasuk by pasuk, we're going to line for line to see the incredible obligations, the incredible obligations of how to do chesed that the Torah requires. The first thing is, we shouldn't think that chesed is just something out of your good heart. Chesed means I want to do chesed to somebody out of the good of my own heart. It's much more than that. It's not only that, but it's a chayiv. It's an obligation to do chesed. That's the first part of this pasuk, because it says Im, and this is an exception to the usual translation of Im, which means if, which means it's a reshus, it means it's optional. It's optional. A voluntary act? No, it's not. This is an exception, and Im here means it's a chayv. Chesed is a chayv. It's a chayv, it's an obligation that Torah requires. And the pasuk continues, Im Kesef Talve Es Ami, my people. Meaning, Rashi says, Shaloi tinhag boi minag bizoyin b'halvo. Don't conduct yourself don't do chesed with him, for him, in a manner of bizoyin, in a derogatory manner, embarrassing him. Why? Because Shehu Ami, because he's my people. He's a member of Klal Yisrael, which is the nation of Hashem. So it's a special chiyuv to conduct ourselves when we lend somebody and do chesed for somebody. We should do it in a derech kavod, out of a hargosha, with a feeling, because he is Ami. He's my people. He's one of the Rebbeinu Shlomo's people. And Reb Chaim Shmulevitz emphasizes that this is not a very easy thing to do, because tivei shel adam hu hepech hagazu. The nature of the person is, you lend somebody, you sort of put him down. No, it's not easy to do this properly. To look up to the person you're lending. He's a member of Klal Yisrael. He's a member of the Rebbeinu Shlomo's people. So we have to conduct ourselves, shaloi tinag by minag bizoyon, because the derech hateva says somebody comes on to me, he needs me, I'm the big man, and we could be doing it derogatorily, and that's not what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. Shaloi tinag by minag bizoyon. Don't conduct yourself toward him in a manner of bizoyon, of embarrassment, embarrassing him. He is Ami, after all, he's a Yid. He's a Yid. You have to have their cheretz. And Reb Chaim Shmulevitz says this is not an easy thing. This is not an easy thing. Because the teva of a person is the opposite. You need me? Here, take. No. Okay, so we learned how to do, we have to conduct ourselves with kavod, derech kavod. Reb Chaim Shmulevitz continues to analyze the Rashi, to help us understand the Rashi. It says in the pasuk, "Es ha'oni imach im kesef talves ami." When you lend money to my people, "Es ha'oni imach," which simply translates the poor person to the poor person among you. But the way Rashi is interpreting it, it means having mistakel ba'atzmecha ki'ilu ata oni. You view yourself as if you are the poor person. When it says in the Torah, the poor person among you, Rashi is explaining it to mean that we should esoni imach. You're the poor person. That's the way you have to lend money to a person. Dima ba'atzmecha ki'ila atahu aloiva mimenu. He's the malva. When he's the one that's lending you money, even though you're lending him $1 million, right? But you have to view him as if you're borrowing from him and he is lending it to you. Apparently, probably Rashi means that if you view yourself to be the malva, if you view yourself as the malva, you're the one that's lending him, then the poor person is going to pick it up. He's going to pick it up that your attitude, the feeling that you have that you are the malva. A person is sensitive. The borrower is very sensitive, and if your attitude is I'm lending it to you, he's going to pick it up and he's going to be embarrassed. So the point is, having mistakel ba'atzmecha. Don't look at yourself as if you are the malva. You are the one that's lending out. But view yourself when you're lending this person $1 million as if you're borrowing from him $1 million. These are all difficult things to be able to fulfill properly. Because if not, apparently the person is going to sense it. The sensitive poor person is going to be sensitive, and he's going to feel that your attitude is that you're the big man and he's like a nothing. The pasuk continues, "Lo yisiya lo kanoisha," which simply means, don't be after him like a creditor. Rashi says, don't demand return of the money with force. And Rashi says that this means al tiye doima olav ki'ilu hilvisai. You shouldn't view yourself as if you're lending it to him as elo ki'ilu lo hilvisai. You didn't even lend it to him. That's the way the Torah wants you to feel. The Torah wants you to feel as if you never lent it to this person. In other words, if the person feels, if the malva feels that he lent the other person money, the oni apparently this is apparently what Rashi means, the poor person borrowing and who's so sensitive that he has to come on to somebody else will sense it, will feel it. So you have to feel as if you never lent them anything. As if you never lent him anything. That's the way you have to feel. In order for your attitude not that the lover, the borrower, should not pick it up. And the Gemara says in Bab Metzia that she'oso laver lefonav, that if you know that you lent somebody money and you walk by, you're hinting that, come on, you owe me money, please pay me. No, if you know that the person doesn't have money, then also laver lefonav, you're not allowed to even go by him. And the question is, the question is that these are such incredible, difficult things to be able to feel when you lend somebody money. You're first of all, you're obligated, and you're not allowed to lend him anything or do chesed for him unless it's b'derech kavod, and you have to feel as if you yourself are borrowing it from him, because if not, he would pick it up. The lover would pick up that you're trying to show that you're better than him. And the third thing we said, you have to even feel that you didn't lend it at all. You didn't lend it at all, or not even to walk by him, by the lover, where he could pick up that the embarrassment of you lending it to him. So the question is, what does the Torah expect of us? Are we all gedolei hador? I mean, all these things are so difficult. All these things are so very difficult to fulfill. Now, the Torah was given for Klal Yisrael, for everybody. Not everybody is a godel hador. Here you have to be a godel hador. In order to do chesed properly, you have to be a big Baal Musa, you have to be able to feel somebody else's sensitivities. And now, is the Torah being given only to the Gedolei Hador and big Balei Musa? That the Torah expects so much from us? That's the question. But apparently, we see from here that if the Torah does demand it, does demand this of us, then we have tremendous greatness within us. Every member of Klal Yisrael, even if he's not a godel hador, has within him such greatness that he can conduct himself with all these lofty ways, ideals of how to do chesed. A person has every member of Klal Yisrael has tremendous greatness within him, and that's what we have to strive for, to bring out all our potentials to be able to do chesed properly. We should be zeicher to this. Amen v'amen.